Hello.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's time.
Now, is that Terminator? That's Terminator, right?
That's Terminator. Yeah, you're not doing war correctly.
I forgot what war sounds like. Maybe you need to turn it on.
Da, da, da,
Oh yeah. Oh, that's such a
That's
cool
the one.
tune. Imagine being like 18. When was it composed?
1800s.
80
I
or
thought it was
something.
early 1900s.
Well, either way, before movies existed.
Yeah.
Somebody makes that, and you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
so cool.
Imagine being like outside the concert hall when they're playing that.
Imagine
Whoa,
being a
what's that music?
3,000-year-old being that could have experienced these things. Couldn't be me.
Couldn't be you. Anyway, I'm Percival Fine.
And I'm Maxi Hamburger.
Let's
We're
get
here
into
to
it.
talk about Chainsaw Man.
That's right. Chapter 105, Red Hot.
Oh, that was the chapter title? I didn't even notice
That is
that.
the chapter title, yeah.
It was a pretty good chapter, right?
I loved it. It's really funny. I've seen people talking about Chainsaw Man Part 1 saying that the pacing in that is really breakneck with all the crazy things that's happening. And usually they're referring to the action. And this is this is a chapter that has lots of crazy things happening that's purely through talking and no fighting going on.
But this is a perfect chapter that starts off deceivingly slow and seems to be going nowhere with a very mundane conversation, and then suddenly this mundane situation becomes so tense.
Yeah.
You start gripping the edge of your seat and going like,
yeah, you're watching two people just sitting there and you're like, oh my god, what's gonna happen?
well, if you're that tuned in to like the pace of things having to happen instead of being like, oh, maybe he's just doing a quiet, nice chapter about their friendship. No, it's not.
If you flip through it without reading the dialogue, you're like, oh, it's just a nice quiet chapter.
Imagine this being in the magazine. Someone's just flipping through, like, it's so boring. They're just talking.
Yeah. Then they go online and people are like, oh my god, this is so crazy. Yeah, so it opens up with Asa talking to Yoru, and I thought it was very cute. Last week not last week, 2 weeks ago, we got the panel with Yoru being angry and beating her pillow.
Yes, it's a reprise of what happened in the scene before that.
Yes. Yeah, and now we get Yoru getting mad about Asa calling her stupid.
Well, I mean, that's the irony. Yoru is 100% right in being naive and taking Dennis at his word.
Yes.
And Asa...
But Asa is totally right that it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make
She's like, no, Chainsaw Man would be smarter than that. Like, would he be?
Shouldn't Yoru be in the position where she knows this? Maybe not. Maybe she just saw him kill part of her, and that's why she's
that's all. Yeah.
Maybe Asa is right. Maybe he is smart. He bested me, so he must be right.
Huh?
He bested me, so he must be right.
That's right. Yeah. If he can defeat a genius like Yoru, who must be very smart, because Yoru tells us that she's not stupid. And
this is so cute, and it's so endearing that Yoru, or devil, is showing emotions now, which are mainly frustration. But
she's learning from Asa.
Showing people frustration, I think that's peak human.
Yes. Yeah.
If you never show frustration, are you even alive?
That's right.
We did learn that life is hell. Well, the human world, anyway.
Yeah.
That was yesterday. You need to watch yesterday's show to realize what I'm referencing.
I saw this and I was like, Yoru needs to learn from Power and put on the smart glasses and commence Operation Super Smart. Then she'll be able to find Chainsaw Man for real.
Power really deserves the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, she does. And then she can pass it on to to Yoru.
It's okay. Even idiots can earn that one.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a second. I was going to talk about how Fujimoto is doing the thing that I dislike. I mentioned this yesterday as well.
Copy paste panels.
Copy pasting panels in order to show that a passage, a short passage of time is occurring. But
yes, I think we've mentioned it before that some authors are manga brain, while others are more anime brain because they're thinking about how it's going to play out more like a storyboard
yes,
than a manga. And I feel like Fujimoto is somewhat anime brain, which makes sense because he's such a big film buff. And I think that's I think that's the origin of why he likes to do paneling like this.
I think he's movie brained, like
Yeah.
Hollywood. He's one of those guys like Hideo Kojima and
yes,
bunch of other guys. I'll come back to that later. There's like a category of Japanese, what's it called, auteurs.
Yeah, that's the word.
Who all learned storytelling from watching a shit ton of Hollywood movies.
That's right.
And I'm like 99% certain that Fujimoto is one of them because he's been referencing Hollywood so much. He's gotta be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I think we mentioned a couple weeks ago when there's a chapter titled Save the Cat. I've learned that there's actually a book titled Save the Cat. It's not just a trope. It's a book, and apparently it's beloved by Hollywood writers.
Why? Why is that?
It's well, you know how George Lucas always references Joseph Campbell's hero's journey?
Yes. Yes.
So that sort of lays out a way to do a kind of myth structure.
Yeah, I love it.
And
give me more of that.
Yeah. So Save the Cat is also a book that's about how to set out a story. So it's teaching writers how to do story structure and particularly how to make characters likable. Because it's you gotta have someone save the cat so that you'll like them. Because otherwise, then you might just be like, who are these assholes? Which is a criticism I've heard. Yeah, literally. It's a criticism I've heard of. What's it called? The Game of Thrones prequel. People are saying that nobody saves the cat. So you're watching it like everyone's scheming to kill each other, and you're like, am I supposed to be rooting for any of these people?
You're just waiting which one of them is going to save the cat so that that's the main character. That's the protagonist.
Yeah. Save the dragon.
I see.
Anyway, back to Yoru. Yoru having a big thing.
I just wanted to concede that I think Fujimoto has unlocked a way to make it good. This thing of showing, like, copy pasting multiple panels in order to show the passage of time. Because I think I know the reason.
What's
he's
the
doing
reason?
it in the next page. He's doing it one more time. I think the reason is because Chainsaw Man has an unusual high number of panels per page.
Yeah. It's very dense with panels.
The regular is, I think, 5 on average. And at maximum, most mangaka only go as far as 6 or 7. 8 is already like when somebody's really stretching in. You're really pushing it. And this one is going up to 9, sometimes even more. And
let me look at another page count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hey, it's got pages with 10 panels on it.
Yeah. So I think that's a sign to me that's at first I wanted to say it's not wasting the reader's time, but actually it's not wasting your own chapter space. If you have stuff to tell and you need to cram it in, this is one way to do it, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's good. It's different than the way Oda does it, though, because Oda crams tons of stuff into each page because absolutely every, well, not always, but absolutely every page generally is very dense with information.
A lot of
And
stuff
then-
is happening in the background.
Yes.
He's framing it so
Contrary to that-
everybody. Wait, he's framing it in a way so that the anime staff can have like one shot where all of the characters are, and you don't have to switch the scenes to get a zoom in on everybody's face. You just need to in turn move
And
everybody's
across.
faces, like
Yeah.
just have their mouths move because they just talk, and that's I think that's one way to do it.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is this time with Fujimoto, instead of using extra extra panels to show extra information like where people are and what they're saying, then it's often extra panels to show how much time is passing, and it's a different way of doing it.
Well, most of the time he even includes some minute changes, like he's actually redrawing the characters. This is one of the first times I noticed that he's actually just copy pasting.
Yeah, which is kind of a bit odd since he's moved to the Jump Plus schedule, so he has more time for each chapter. But
he must have figured that
As long
in
as it
this
still
case
works.
it's okay to do it because
Right.
he has to pretend that this is a slow and boring chapter at first to really get to.
to
Contrary to
surprise you at the end.
Tokyo Demon Bride story, where it's just you as a throwaway gag, where somebody's just thinking about somebody saying something, and they're like, "Ah, yeah, they're right," or kind of like, "It's okay, I didn't brush my teeth either."
Yeah, going back to gremlin behavior similar to power. So one thing that I noticed here is that Yoru is so deep in thought that Asa thinks to herself, maybe I can actually tame her, and doesn't get a response from Yoru. Because before,
It's so
we've seen
dangerous.
that...
I was worried, like, you can't think that she can read your mind.
When she tries to come up with plots against Yoru in her mind, and Yoru's like, I can hear your thoughts.
I really like this joke.
Mhm.
Or rather, her thought was entertaining.
Yes.
It's not really a joke. It's
Not
just
a joke. It's just, maybe she can be tamed.
Did it be called a sitcom? Is Chainsaw Man a sitcom?
Is Chainsaw Man a sitcom? I don't know.
Always Sunny in Tokyo?
I'm not sure
Ratio
if you could count it as that.
The ratio of a-holes in this whole series is akin
That's
to
correct.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Denji never learns anything.
Dennis.
He has his own Dennis system. Is that why people call him Dennis?
Is Power Danny DeVito?
You're generating fan art with this line of thinking. I'm sure
Nice.
someone will draw that once it becomes anime,
Nice.
because anime draws in many more fans.
So after this flashback to Asa and Yoru discussing that Denji couldn't possibly be Chainsaw Man because all of these reasons, he has the merch. He
reasons.
called himself a fan. He started bragging about stuff that Chainsaw Man probably is or isn't. He was defending him, and then he declared he's Chainsaw Man. That's so stupid.
Yeah.
It's not possible for somebody to be this much of a retard and still be the Chainsaw Man who saves the world. It gets to a different scene where Asa visits Yuko at home because she broke her leg in the attack
running
of
away from the Bat Devil.
Of the Bat Devil, yeah. So she hasn't been coming to school, and Asa just meets with her, and Yuko goes, "Oh,
Yeah.
you're the first one who's coming for a visit, and come
Yeah,
on,
they
sit
just
down.
hang out
All I
on
can
the
do
patio."
is sunbathe,
Yeah.
and it's getting boring." I think she could do more, but
Well, coming up, we'll learn she has been doing more.
right, yes. So since Yuko wants to highlight how nice of a friend Asa is, she's like, well, in order to deepen our relationship, how about we tell each other one secret that we've told nobody before? And Asa could go on and be like,
She
yeah,
could. She's got secrets that we know. She tells one that we don't know.
Yeah, and instead she chooses a completely different story that's very innocuous, and it's like almost funny, but like,
It's
makes
very
you feel
cringe.
stories that make you feel physical pain.
Yes.
And Yuko reacts very positively towards it. And oh, by the way, this is the page that another page that has 9 panels.
Yeah, that's a lot of panels.
And look how different they are. It's not
Yeah, each of them is
just
different.
like copy paste. It's, you could argue,
Slightly
it's
different
just-
angles.
It's
or
almost
talking,
the same. It's
sweating.
just us looking kind of the same. But it's, you have to redraw her every single time.
Yeah.
So you think that Yuko now gets out with a funny story of her own, and wham, she hits you with like one of the most like discomforting discussion.
Yeah. Suddenly, Yuko just comes out and says that she killed someone yesterday. And why?
At first it sounds like a joke, because Asa is still like smiling. She's like, huh? Okay, who?
And her
And
smile slowly
she
changes.
kind of plays along.
Uh-oh.
Hmm?
Her smile changes to an uh-oh face.
Yes, it's slowly like the corners of her mouth are slowly going down. Then finally it hits you with a big double page spread of physical pain. Because like it does seem like a joke at first. You normally wouldn't say like,
who would say
I killed
something like
someone.
that?
And Yuko even gives the reason, which kind of sounds like, yeah, that is kind of a real reason somebody would do that if you're a psycho.
That's right.
I didn't know you were a psycho. Is this still a bit? And
because we all know Yuko as a good girl.
Yeah, but then it even gives you the option of like, oh, it was a joke, because then a neighbor shows up and you're like, oh, it was just a fake out. Ha, funny joke, Yuko. Why would you say something fucked up? And then she's like, no, that's a different neighbor. Do you want to see the dead neighbor that I buried in my backyard? And
then she reveals she knows
everything.
Other secrets. Yeah.
It's not even like she knows that she killed the teacher and the classmate because they attacked her, because the classmate already made a pact with the Justice Devil. She knows everything, like even that she calls the War Devil Yoru.
Yeah.
Because she made a pact with the Justice
that.
Devil herself.
Right.
And you might think like, well, that's coming out of left field because Yuko is such a nice and good girl. She would never. But then you have to think about
that.
What?
I thought she's such a good girl that having a contract with the Justice Devil makes a lot of sense for her to become
Previously,
a villain.
I would have just said like, oh, she knows what's right and what's wrong, and she has a very strong sense of, like, she's very righteous.
Yes.
But she didn't strike me as somebody who's going on about like what justice is and that you have to right the wrongs.
Mm-hmm.
Just that she knows it and she feels responsible.
But now because she's contracted with the Justice Devil.
Well, she also had this moment of weakness where she must have realized like, oh, I can't even do anything against a small devil, and I wanted to be a devil hunter, and then the Justice Devil creeps up on you and is like, well, there's something we could do about that.
It's like that. The same thing with Griffith in Berserk. He realizes that he's powerless at that point, and then he's like, I'll do anything to have power again.
Yeah.
So,
you know what you just said sounds like Griffith read Chainsaw Man and felt very bad about losing power to the plot.
That's right.
I'd do anything to get her back.
Do anything. Sacrifice all my friends to get power back. Sorry, Max. I gotta go find an egg to get power back in the series.
No! I sure hope you get more time on the clock for that.
Yeah.
And then finally, Yuko even drops like the big, like, don't say this line.
the meme line. Don't come to school tomorrow, Grogu.
Oh, I was yelling at my screen when I read
I
this.
know. I saw this. I literally said, "Oh no!" out loud. This is the kind of chapter where there's no fighting, but you're still like gasping at every page. Like, oh my god, what happened?
So now, I bet the Justice. Wait, no, actually no. I was about to
Actually,
say
what?
now the War Devil can turn Yuko into a weapon because the Justice Devil already has her.
Or can she? She'll
But
fight
yeah,
her.
can she? Because she used a part of that other classmate's body when she turned into the grotesque
Yes, the grenade.
blorb monster
turned her
into
into
a
a
grenade.
grenade.
So
Yeah.
now would be like a really good moment to turn her into a weapon, just to avoid problems.
They are besties after all.
Yes.
You can turn your bestie into a weapon. I will say that I'd previously assumed that what was going to go on here is that we'll follow Asa, and then she'll end up becoming the main antagonist as Yoru pushes her more like in a warlike way. But it seems to have gone the opposite direction of actually Asa's having a greater effect on Yoru. And she's becoming more likable. So now we have the possibility of Yuko becoming the main villain. I'm really hoping that they don't defeat her quickly and turn her into a weapon. Because I like Yuko. Even though people are like, oh no, Yuko bad.
Yeah, I have really mixed feelings about this. I can't really. You said it perfectly. I can't go one way or another with this because I like Yuko and I don't want to lose her. But the clock, like it turned red.
As soon as it reveals that
pulsating.
somebody gets a contract with the devil, the clock begins.
It's making a pulsating sound just to add to the stress, and we now have to wait 2 weeks with that clock ticking.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I thought about is do you remember before the series started, there was one art that Fujimoto put out that was Yoru holding a chainsaw.
I do not remember this.
You don't remember that? Okay, it was. I'll have to look it up and show you. It
was one it promotional or was it?
Yeah, it was a promo art.
Or was it a chapter cover or something like that?
It might have been a chapter cover. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure it was before the new part 2 started.
Oh, really?
I saw pictures because there was the one picture that was them having a stare down, Chainsaw Man. And there's another one that's Yoru holding a chainsaw.
So what you're thinking is that this is foreshadowing, like kind of when you see the anime opening and it shows stuff that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same that Asa is going to turn Yoru into a chainsaw.
What I was thinking, there's 2 options for that. If it's foreshadowing and not just Fujimoto being like, oh, this looks cool, is that either Yoru will defeat Yuko and turn her into a weapon, her own chainsaw, to fight Denji. Alternately, it could mean that Yuko becomes the main villain of part 2, and then they have to team up, Yoru and Denji, to fight her. And that's why she's holding a chainsaw, because in a way she's wielding Chainsaw Man. That was my other thought.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, she's gonna destroy the school apparently. So, I hope they defeat her, but I hope Denji doesn't eat her, because even though a overzealous sense of justice can be bad, I don't want them to get justice out of.
I see you've read Sakamoto Days to say this.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like what the order says.
Isn't it kind of like Yuko is going to probably kill all of the classmates who gave Asa a bad time?
Yeah.
I don't think she has any reason to kill anybody else. because that
Yes. Well,
wouldn't be
you never
very
know.
just.
She could have read everyone's mind, and she knows everyone is a sinner, so she's gonna go after all of them. Who knows? Yeah.
But
I'm gonna
I
put
mean, she
Asa
could
up on
also
the screen as well.
she
Be comfortable.
she could also reveal that a lot of the other classmates have wronged her in the past, and she got bullied, and she always had this kind of grudge. But now that she's
Because she was
met
too
somebody
nice, she
else,
didn't act on it.
yeah, but like
Yeah.
she saw somebody else, Asa, being bullied all of a sudden, and now she's like, this is what it's like. Now I don't just feel self-pity. Now I feel like actual anger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
could be
so
something like that.
I mean that could be a. What are you doing? Yeah, that could be a reveal. I would. um, it could go into many different directions. So that's one thing that's really interesting about Chainsaw Man. All of the time that there's so many things that could happen, and all of them would be really interesting.
Yeah, you don't know which prophecy will be true or not.
And I also think that's a mark of a good manga, because if every option that you can think of is interesting, that's the ultimate.
Right.
In a lot of cases, you go like, "Oh, I hope they don't do this. That would suck so bad," or like, "Oh, this is the best thing that could possibly happen. I hope they do it." And then
usually they don't.
Yes, so you always set
your. But in this, we're like, either way, then it would be an interesting direction.
Yeah. And as I always say after reading Bakuman, the best thing about a manga is not if it's good or bad. It has to be interesting. Even if it's pissing you off, that's beneficial to the manga itself.
Does that mean that you actually enjoyed Earthchild? Pissed you off so much that you gained value from it? Because it interested you
in a way, yes.
The ways that it pissed you off.
In a way, yes. So the author could always go like, well, at least it was interesting in a way that made you go like, I can't wait to see how stupid this shit could go.
Yeah.
Child is a very strong, like a very extreme example.
The worst is being boring.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a way, Earthchild is better than a lot of series, just on account of that it's pissing me off and it's getting an emotion out of me. I will never forget
what the hell
Earthchild,
is this?
but I might forget something that's actually like kind of okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, how do you rate this chapter? This beast of a chapter.
Man, almost all of the Chainsaw Man chapters deserve like 90.
I know.
90 regions. It's so good. It caught me off guard. It shocked me. It made me yell. It gave us cute Yoru.
It did. We've said before on comedy series like Roboco, we're rating it based on did I laugh? And in Chainsaw Man, sometimes did I yell? This one, yes. So I guess high marks. Although, would you detract a bit for having too much copy paste?
A little bit.
You said that this is the one where it actually is exactly copy pasted and not slightly.
A little bit. Yeah. Gotta be fair, but I know it was used in a good way this time.
Mm-hmm. It's not out of laziness. It's a stylistic choice.
Yes. It was supposed to trick us.
Yeah.
Giving us this false sense of boredom. I wasn't even bored. I enjoyed it, even the stuff that was kind of mundane.
I wouldn't say it's boredom, even though this picture is like them just sitting there and saying nothing.
Yeah.
I think that instead of boredom, then what I was feeling from this was, I guess, relaxedness, because they're just chilling. They're chilling.
Comfort.
Yeah, being friends. Comfort. That's right. They're surprisingly comfortable, and then it hits you with a big shock. Oh shit, Yuko, main villain Yuko. Remember when people thought that she was going to turn out to be Denji in disguise?
I
And they
do
have a
not
different
remember
twist.
this. That's stupid.
Yeah, people were like, "Oh, she's got blonde hair. She's probably
No!
Denji."
Ah,
Are you
ah,
Chainsaw Man?
who said that? I
Some
will
people
track
I
you
know.
down and tell you how wrong you were.
Anyway, anything else to mention about this?
I can't wait to see the next chapter.
Same. I'm very excited about it. But until then, our comfort is only just beginning.